Hello and welcome back to our channel Food Discoveries. This is Philippe and today I will be showing you how to cook orange sauce. This recipe came up alive some time ago when I was wondering how to make something nice and good from only the ingredients that I had left in the house, which were basically a bunch of oranges, some potatoes, meat and some heavy cream, and that was it. So let's get started. To accompany, of course, we're gonna need some meat. In my case this was 2 turkey breasts and a nice piece of pork loin, which was really well aged. I'll show you in a minute. Cut to the portion sizes, about 1.5 centimeters to 2 centimeters thick. The turkey breasts I cut with a little bit of angle to make it slightly bigger because the turkey breasts are really thin, and to create nice medallions. And this is how you judge if your meat is very well aged. If you push your finger in and it stays, the fingerprint stays in there, it's very good. If it bounces back like a sponge, it's not good. So we quickly fry the meat with a little bit of oil, a little bit of salt, but not too much because we don't want it to ruin the sauce. Just a few minutes from each side. And we prepare the onion. Meanwhile the meat is being done. We need 2 big onions cut to the little pieces. The smaller the better because it will basically need to break down in the sauce meanwhile cooking. When we have all the meat done, we put it on a side in a pot under the cover. And in the very same pot that we made the meat, this is not burnt, this is just a nice caramelization of the meat juices. We put the onion inside, and the acidity of the onion, what it does, it will deglaze the pan and dissolve all the meat flavors back into it. That's why it turns so nicely brown now. And meanwhile the onion's cooking, frying let's say, we can head over to the cutting board and prepare our main ingredient, which is the start of this recipe, oranges. We're going to need 6 big oranges, or more specifically just the juice from them. The key to this sauce, it really lies into the sweetness or the sourness of the oranges and how much juice you can get from them. In my case, from the 6 big oranges, I got about 550 milliliters of very sweet, very nice juice. If your oranges are too sour, you're just gonna need to use a lot more sugar. So we put the orange sauce, stir it in, and bring it to the boil. I like to put a little bit of the orange pulp inside, not all of it, because from 6 oranges it would be just big mushed creamy something, not a sauce. But a little bit of that orange pulp, maybe from half of the orange, will do the good job. We add about half a liter of water. I added 800 milliliters because I had big oranges and I wanted to make a little bit more sauce. Some salt. And now we can start with seasoning the sauce. We add 1 big tablespoon of basil, 1 big tablespoon of oregano. I'm using dried herbs because it's winter and all my fresh herbs were taken away by the winter conditions. And this looks like a lot of seasoning, but trust me, because the oranges are very intense on the flavor and we're using the dry herbs, this is going to dissolve very quickly into the flavors. We're also gonna need a big teaspoon of cinnamon, and 2 teaspoons of sweet paprika. Not spicy, that will ruin the sauce. Don't use spicy please. And last, 1 teaspoon of dried tarragon. Bring it up to the boil, cover it with the lid and reduce the heat down to the medium-low. Keep cooking for about an hour. Taste for seasoning. At this point mine was too sour, so I added 1 more tablespoon of sugar. Don't get scared that at this point the sauce is very sharp taste. We're going to add at least half a liter of cream. That's going to really smoothen the taste out. But we don't want it too sour, so we use the sugar to neutralize this acidity a little bit. We add all our meat juices that accumulated in the pot on the side. We definitely don't want them to waste. Stir in. And now after about an hour of cooking, the onion is soft enough so we can blend everything. I'm using an immersion blender. This is really helpful being in a kitchen. We really want to blend this smoothly. Taste for seasoning. And I needed a little bit more salt. And now the holy grail of this sauce. We don't want it too thin, so we use a roux to thicken it up, which is basically a melted butter with some flour. We use this for many recipes, how to thicken up the sauces, soups, stews, basically everything that we need to make thicker. It makes the sauce to stick to the side dish and the meat that we're having the sauce with, of course. We need to stir it in and cook it for a little bit. And now is the time to add our cream, half a liter of heavy cream. Me, myself personally, I prepare a whipped cream because it will bring a lightness to the sauce. Bubbles in the whipped cream will fluff it up, will lighten the sauce a little bit so it's not that heavy. And the last addition to the sauce is we cut out one whole orange to little cubes. We clean it up from all the side skin. The bitter skin would not taste well in the sauce. This is to give it a texture, to give it something that you actually know it's an orange sauce, except for the color and flavor. The visual also plays a role. And at this point, when we have all the ingredients inside, I did a final tasting and my sauce needed a little bit more sugar because my oranges were sour more than usual. And on the other hand, if your oranges are too sweet, you can do a little bit of lemon juice. Actually, lime juice will be less aggressive. And at this point, it should already taste almost perfect. I need a little bit more salt because between an amazing sauce and a good sauce, there's always a little bit of salt difference. And we are done and we can start serving. I serve mine with potato chips. I use two kinds of potato chips, garlicky and spicy. I'll show you in our next recipe how to make them if you're interested. And a little bit of arrangement for final mandatory photo. Because I use two kinds of meat, this made my job a little bit easier. This sauce goes really well with dumplings, with boiled potatoes, also pasta, anything you can imagine. It has a nice fruity flavor, but with the cream not too strong. And look how shiny that is. I hope you enjoyed this recipe as much as I do. It's my father's favorite sauce, so I hope you give it a try. And if you like, please subscribe. Stay tuned for more recipes. We'll be bringing you more and more every week. Bon appetit!